Emotional intelligence is often praised as a superpower, being understanding, empathetic, aware, and deeply attuned to other people's emotions. But Carl Jung believed that every strength has a shadow, and even the most admirable qualities can become dangerous when they're used to avoid, suppress, or manipulate. Highly emotionally intelligent people often carry a hidden burden. They feel everything too deeply, read every subtle shift in mood, internalize other people's emotions, and blame themselves for conflicts that were never theirs to fix. They become peacemakers at the expense of their own needs, healers who forget to heal themselves, and experts at emotional control who quietly lose connection with their own truth. When emotional intelligence is unbalanced, it becomes self-erasing. You adapt too much, you explain too much, you forgive too much, and you lose yourself while trying to keep the peace. Today, we're going to explore the dark side of emotional intelligence through Jung's lens, and why the very traits that make you understanding can also make you vulnerable, lonely, and emotionally exhausted. When you're the person who listens, understands, and stays calm, something predictable begins to happen. People who cannot regulate their own emotions start gravitating toward you. They sense your stability, your empathy, your patience, and instead of matching it, they lean on it. Jung called this psychic compensation, the unconscious search for someone who carries the qualities we lack. So the more emotionally intelligent you are, the more you draw in people who want to be understood, but have no idea how to understand anyone else. You become the grounding force in their chaos, the clarity in their confusion, the calm in their storms. But slowly, and almost invisibly, the balance shifts. You start carrying conversations, absorbing emotions, fixing situations, soothing their anxieties, while your own needs quietly disappear from the equation. It doesn't happen because you're weak. It happens because emotional takers mistake your empathy for endless capacity. They confuse your insight with obligation. They assume your strength means you don't need support. So they take without giving, vent without listening, demand without noticing. And because you are emotionally intelligent, you rationalize their behavior. They're struggling. They don't mean harm. I can handle it. But over time, you become drained, unseen, and strangely lonely. Emotional intelligence becomes the very thing that traps you, turning you into everyone's healer, but no one's equal. In Jungian terms, these relationships are not connections. They are energetic imbalances, and if you're not careful, they consume the emotional space you never feel allowed to claim for yourself. Jung believed that empathy is one of the most powerful, but also one of the most dangerous human capacities. When you're highly emotionally intelligent, you don't just see other people's pain, you feel it in your body. And because you feel it so intensely, you start explaining their behavior instead of protecting your own well-being. You understand their childhood wounds, their stress, their fears, their insecurities, and that understanding becomes the chain that keeps you tied to them. You tell yourself, if I just love them better, they'll heal. Or, they didn't mean to hurt me, they're just struggling. Your empathy becomes a filter that softens every red flag. You focus so much on why they behave the way they do that you ignore how their behavior affects you. Jung warned that this creates emotional fusion, where your identity becomes entangled with someone else's story. You begin carrying emotions that aren't yours, fixing problems that aren't yours, and forgiving harm that shouldn't be forgiven. You're not too sensitive. You're too responsible for other people's feelings. And the more you empathize, the more you lose sight of your own needs, your own boundaries, your own emotional truth. In the end, you're deeply attached, but not deeply respected. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. Jung said, "Loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to express what matters. And this is the quiet burden emotionally intelligent people carry. You move through life as the strong one, the steady one, the one everyone turns to when their world is falling apart. You absorb their pain, listen to their fears, carry their secrets, and offer comfort without ever asking for anything in return. People feel safe with you, but you rarely feel safe with anyone. They see your stability, your compassion, your insight, but they never see the exhaustion behind it. They admire how calm you are, but they don't realize that your calmness is something you perform, not something you always feel. And so you become invisible in your own life. Everyone comes to you for understanding, but no one pauses long enough to understand you. You're surrounded by people, yet you feel emotionally isolated, because what matters most to you, your fears, your desires, your inner chaos, stays locked inside. You've become so used to being the one who holds others that you forget what it feels like to be held. And this creates the deepest loneliness of all. Being known for your strength, but never for your struggles. Being valued for what you give, but rarely for who you are. Jung warned that this kind of loneliness can harden the heart, not out of bitterness, but out of pure exhaustion. Because when no one mirrors your inner world back to you, you start to feel like you don't have one, or that it doesn't matter. Emotionally intelligent people often become the stabilizers of every environment they enter. Jung believed that when someone becomes too aware of others' emotions, they begin carrying feelings that don't belong to them. You sense tension before anyone speaks. You fix problems no one asked you to fix. You smooth conflicts, absorb discomfort, and adjust yourself so others don't explode, withdraw, or fall apart. Over time, you stop expressing your needs because you're too busy managing everyone else's. You apologize first. You compromise fastest. You bend so nothing breaks. And while people admire your calmness, they never notice the emotional weight you're lifting behind the scenes. Your peacekeeping becomes a silent burden. You sacrifice your authenticity for harmony, your needs for balance, your truth for stability. Jung warned that this creates a split self, one part of you performing strength and the other silently collapsing. The darkest part? People grow accustomed to your emotional labor, but you never receive the same in return. Carl Jung believed that every strength contains a shadow, and emotional intelligence is no exception. The ability to read people, soothe tension, and carry others emotionally is a rare gift. But it comes with a cost. You become the helper in a world that rarely helps back, the healer who never gets healed, the listener who is silently breaking. Emotional intelligence can make you wise, but it can also make you self-abandon if you never learn to turn that awareness inward. Jung taught that wholeness comes from integrating your shadow, the parts of you that cry out for care, boundaries, protection, and honesty. And until you learn to protect the parts of you that feel deeply, your gift will drain you instead of empower you. You don't need to stop being emotionally intelligent. You just need to stop using it as a replacement for self-worth. The moment you choose to understand yourself as deeply as you understand others, everything changes. If this video made something inside you feel seen, tell me in the comments. What part of emotional intelligence do you struggle with the most? And if you want more videos like this, subscribe, like, and share this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.